it's been going pretty well. It's definitely discouraging at times for the obvious reasons of COVID, but
Yeah.
Well, I might have to connect you because Ned and Melanie, their longest day event is a cycling event, and so they have lots of friends. They cycle all the time. I won't tell you who's faster than each other because it's a very heated conversation, but one person may be better than the other.
yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I'm scheduled to work on the longest day, so I have my plan. I had to get a little creative, so it'll be start early and wrapped up early.
You guys are really motivating me to get active. I mean, I will have to admit there's not too many days that I get out on the Monum, but with these beautiful days we've been having, I am just craving it, and I need to find a really good cycling. I even got roller skates. They just came in the mail this week, so I need to get some good active playlists to keep me motivated and going. I have to listen to music.
If I wasn't signed up for this, I don't know how
you need to take advantage of these. Yeah, you need to take
Oh.
advantage of these beautiful days. So Ned and I got out with one of our cycling buddies last night. We did 41 miles, and we didn't want to stop. It was such a beautiful day. So it's a good time to take advantage of the weather, that's for sure.
That's awesome. Well, as people are joining us now, we're talking about cycling. We're talking about getting active, and I was sharing with them that I just got a purple bike, so very all out. And today we're inviting some of the longest day participants to talk about why they got involved, what their activities are going to be, share their stories, and we'll tell you all about how you can get involved with the longest day coming up here next weekend. We have Morgan Shiflett here from our Greater Indiana office. Morgan, introduce yourself and what we're also going to do today.
So thank you for anyone who is joining us today to share what you're doing for the longest day, or even learn more and find out how you can be a part of this. So we've been so lucky today that we have 4 of our participants here in Indiana who all are very involved with the Alzheimer's Association and do a number of different things. As Riley mentioned, we've learned we have a common connection today of cycling. So there are a lot of people in the group who either cycle for their longest day event, or it's just a part of something that they're enjoying doing during this time. So they have some really powerful stories and some things that we want to share with all of our viewers. So we'll be asking them a couple of questions. For those of you that don't know, the longest day is a do-it-yourself fundraiser. So people across Indiana pick different events that they're passionate about, or they maybe pick an event that their loved one enjoyed and turn that into a fundraiser. So Jennifer here, last year she did a really awesome Italian night where we ate Italian food and drank wine. Ned and Melanie today, you'll hear a little bit about their cycling adventure, and then Stephanie's done multiple things. So as you hopefully will learn today, you can really take anything that you're interested in and turn it into a fundraiser. So I will be asking some questions and turning it over to the really exciting, awesome people here in Indiana. So Ned, if you wouldn't mind kicking us off, if you would just share or introduce yourself, share a little bit about how you got involved with the longest day.
Sure. My name's Ned Broadwater. I live here in Indianapolis, or Zionsville, and I got involved really with the walk about 11 years ago and had some good success there, but I was on the board for the Indiana Alzheimer's Association and started hearing more about the longest day event, and kind of realized it's continuing to grow, and it just exciting to allow me to do something other than walking. So I had the idea a couple of years ago about doing a bike ride, and I was going to do one from Lake Michigan down to the Indianapolis Alzheimer's office, but ended up having a hip replacement, and so that put that off for a year or two, and continued with the idea. But then I met Melanie. I was coming off the board, she was coming on the board, found out we both kind of had a love for cycling. So last year we put together a ride, ended up being 103 miles. We raised over, I want to say $5,000 in total. And this year we've cut it down to 65 miles, limiting to 65 riders. due to the, everybody gets diagnosed, or somebody gets diagnosed every 65 seconds with Alzheimer's. So we kind of kept with that 65 theme. And so we're doing that July 12th, and there'll be more information later, I guess, on the conversation about that. But that's how I got involved.
Yeah,
I guess that was a personal story for me because my dad died. It'll be 9 years ago this August, and from Alzheimer's, and my mom now has been diagnosed this past February, and she's in memory care, and so it's just kind of been a double whammy from both sides.
yeah. Thank you for sharing, Ned. I know, many people are being really affected right now with their loved ones living in some type of senior care or memory care facility. And it's been really difficult for a lot of people not to be able to really see their loved ones. So one thing that our programs team has done is it's been really awesome that they've offered a support group for individuals who have loved ones living in a facility that they maybe can't see or interact with, and just really creating that sense of community so that they have that and they can be there for each other. So, I think this pretty much relates to one of our next participants, Stephanie. So Stephanie, I wanted to kick it over to you and ask if you'll share a little bit about your story. I know the senior care during this time is something that is close to you. So if you'll just share a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, it's so I got involved with this. My dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a few years ago, and unfortunately really took a quick slide down and is in memory care right now. One thing I've always wanted to do is an Ironman, and my dad believed in me always more than I can. He was a sports coach. So I figured that why not combine those two loves of supporting Alzheimer's for someone I love and the sport of Ironman. So I have used that as my platform to raise money. And it's kind of, it's a double-edged sword. What a horrible time to raise money, but at the same time, what a powerful time to increase awareness. Not only does my dad have Alzheimer's, but I'm an occupational therapist, to see, and my husband's a nurse and works in memory care sometimes, to see how these people are affected also in the community, in the hospital, and in the resources, and who don't have resources. I'm seeing it on both ends, and these support groups that that's been provided from the association have been so powerful right now and so great, and it's so instrumental more than ever. So it's, like I said, kind of combining my two loves. And I think the theme longest day means an Ironman's going to take me 12 hours at least. It's going to be the longest day. So even though it's not happening on the longest day, that's kind of what I'm striving for and earning toward a mile. And even if the COVID crisis does cancel this Ironman, it will be done in my town of Brownsburg with support. So that's the culminating event, but we've also done a couple little things. My kids are pretty involved. They've done, and they're here if you want them to come on. They've done a fundraiser at school. They plan to do a couple others. The thing they've done now is they're able to make their own. They can make scrub on their own. I boil the coconut oil. So this is our big Christmas gift. So this is what they've done. All right, get off. So this is one of the fundraisers they've been doing. So this is Simon. He's showing you one of the scrubs he's made. And then you want to show her one of the ones you did. So we're going to start selling these. They've done work around the house to raise money for the jars and ribbons and the whatnot, and sugar, essential oils. So 100% will be going back to the association that they raised through this. So that's
Get me signed up. Get me signed up.
So yeah, it's a favorite Christmas gift. So we're like, and we get requests after Christmas for more. So we said, why not do it for this? So that's our in the whole thing right now is, I feel like all we're doing is asking, and we can't give anything with the COVID crisis. So I'm excited to actually give something. But we've also done virtual yoga, and that was a couple $100. That was a great fundraiser. And we're doing sunset yoga outdoors, so we can kind of still social distance, but make it a little more fun. That's scheduled, I believe, July 9th. And for the longest day, to honor, I unfortunately made the mistake of working at the hospital that day. So what I'm going to do is run 16 miles in honor of the 16 hours of sunlight for the longest day. And the theme is going to be give up your coffee. So my friends are all going to run with me. And the encouragement is I have coffee at the house after we run. and you donate those $3, you give to Starbucks to the association. So, and we have a couple other things in the works, like Little Boutique and a couple of things, since I'm extending mine till October, doing the 2 time periods for the Ironman. So that's a little summary of what we're doing.
And
I love
if you-
that, Stephanie.
Yeah. And so for your 2 kids, like, have you guys enjoyed making your scrubs? Are you excited about selling them?
Excited about selling them. probably.
You're excited. How are you selling them? Are you asking family and friends, or how are you telling people about your fundraiser?
Like family and friends, and then we might, like if they have friends that wanted to, they will tell us.
Well, they plan to make a YouTube video. This one's pretty good at taking a video and turning it into an iMovie and adding music and stuff. So
We need you on our team. We make videos all the time.
Yes, I was going to say, definitely share that with us. We would love to see that, and, just continue sharing with the community what they're doing. And then, Stephanie, I know that you had talked about earlier when we had connected, but if you would also just speak to how you said it's this whole process and fundraising has been a really cool experience for your kids and connecting with other, individuals or students that they go to school with.
yeah, so want to say what you did in art? What did you guys do?
We did
Bring $1 and what did you do in art if you brought $1?
free color.
Free color. So easy fundraiser their school's able to do, but at the same time, I know Simon had a friend say, well, my grandpa has that. And it kind of started up some conversation with the friends about, that their grandpas have that and, or their great grandpa had that. So start that, you're not the only one in this situation. And I think hard for my kids to see my dad within 3 years ride 150 miles, babysit them, coach football, and then now in memory care assisted living and not really knowing their names. So they've seen a very drastic change they can remember, and it's a lot to process. And they've really they've done awesome with it.
So inspiring to hear those stories and hear that they're starting at such a young age. I'm so proud of you two for doing what you do. And I am so glad that it's been successful and able to sell it to your friends and family. I did just want to highlight some of the comments that we've gotten in the last couple of minutes. For those of you that are joining us, we're talking about the longest day, and we've invited some of our participants to show and tell what they are doing for their do-it-yourself event fundraising initiatives. We have a comment from Diane telling us that her feet are still recovering from her last year, or from her April longest day challenge and the May 500 challenge. So for the longest day this year, she's going to do a self-distancing hike. So staying active, it seems like to be a theme with some of our participants here. Maria says, thank you for your wonderful fundraising. Mary is a current caregiver for her 93-year-old mom who has Alzheimer's. Thank you, Mary, for joining us today. And Natalie, our executive director, said, Stephanie, these are such incredible ideas and wonderful to engage the younger generation. Thanks for sharing. I couldn't agree more. Anyone else joining us, let us know where you're joining us from. And if you're involved in the longest day, or if you want to, we'd be happy to talk about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, Stephanie, thank you so much for having your kids join us as well. I think it truly impacts every aspect of your family. So, it doesn't just affect someone who's a caregiver or someone who's working in the industry, like it affects every layer of your family. So thank you so much for involving them. And I know they've been awesome. I've loved getting some fun pictures and things of them as well. So we appreciate that. So next, I think I will kick it over to Melanie Perry. She is traveling today, but she's so awesome and still has joined us. So Melanie, if you want to introduce your self, I know you and Ned are co-partners for your fundraiser, but if you maybe want to tell us a little bit more about how you've gotten involved with the association and, why is this work important to you?
Thanks for allowing us to come on and kind of share our efforts today. So as Morgan said, Ned Broadwater and I are co-captains for the Spoke and Memories cycling team this year. And as Ned mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a 65-mile ride this year. Actually, it will be on July 12th because we moved that date to be in better compliance with the governor's all open date for the state. But riding that 65 miles on behalf of the 65 seconds everybody that somebody is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in this country. But this is kind of the culmination of a few years of being involved with the Longest Day. So I actually am involved more from a professional standpoint than a personal standpoint, although my work has become very mission driven, so it does become very personal in its nature. But I've actually served individuals living with Alzheimer's disease or related forms of dementia for the past 28 years from the long-term care perspective. So starting out as a personal care assistant in South Florida in the early 1990s, and culminating in my current role. I'm now a corporate memory care support consultant in the world of long-term care, and continue to serve residents and families from more of a corporate office perspective at this point in time. But certainly it means that my love for the residents that I serve and their families is diminished, not at all, even though I might not be able to be involved with them on a daily basis as I once was when I started. So with that said, I continue to look for ways to support the Alzheimer's Association, to be involved with the Alzheimer's Association efforts. And so I think pretty much from the first year of the Longest Day, I was doing something to support the Longest Day effort, usually involving cycling. But from our company effort, we also have done a series of flash mobs each year. And so this year will be no different. We'll actually be going to be doing a virtual flash mob, if you can imagine that. But we're putting that together right now. So that will pop up, yes, on the internet at some point in time with the true nature of a flash mob. You don't know when it's coming, so just watch for it. But we are putting that together. But in terms of cycling, it's a way for the Longest Day. One of the great things about the Longest Day, the walk is wonderful, the walk is awesome, and it brings together everybody with this common interest and this common goal. But the awesome thing about the Longest Day is you really get to be you in your expression of support for the Alzheimer's Association. So bringing in your favorite activities and bringing in your family members. And Stephanie, that just warms my heart to see your children involved in doing these wonderful efforts. Bringing in the whole family, doing what you do in support of the Alzheimer's Association. So whether that's riding a bike, doing an Ironman. So I'm going like this to you right now, doing an Ironman, making something you can share with others, bridge clubs, the dancing studios, all of these things, you really get to bring yourself into the Longest Day, which I think is one of my favorite things about this, as it does differ from the walk. So as we mentioned, Ned and I are still looking for Team Spoke and Memories. So it's Spoke ampersand, so N Memories. We are looking for participants. Oh, very awesome. So, it says it should be an ampersand.
Not in Google though. It's not.
Oh, in Google it is and. Oh, good to know. Thank you.
Yep.
See, that's why Ned and I are co-captains, because he can catch me when I make mistakes like this.
Dynamic duo.
So yeah, if you Google that, Spoke and Memories, our page will come up. And then if you are interested in riding with us, as I mentioned, we still are looking for cyclists. So it's a situation where, again, we're going to be riding 65 miles, but there will be rest stops. There will be directionals painted on the road. They're called Dan Henry's along the way. And we will be taking groups of people by speed, kind of your mile per hour average. So if you're not super fast, it's okay. We're breaking down into 3 groups. It's not what we call a no drop ride, which means, if you do get separated from the group, people aren't going to be waiting on you. But again, we have the directionals on the road. We have 2 rest stops along the way, so you can refresh and take something to eat or drink. Or if that even sounds like it's a little too much for you, then we are accepting donations for the effort. And we also have been given the blessing of 3 sponsors locally. So Moontown Brewery is our starting and stopping point, and for the ride. And then that day they will be donating a portion of their proceeds to the Alzheimer's Association to the Longest Day. Titus Bakery and Deli is also allowing us to use their facilities as kind of a rest stop area, and we'll be donating a portion of their profits from the day. And then Grey Goat Bike Shop also will be having somebody out at the ride if anybody needs assistance with their bikes, and we'll be offering a portion of their profits. So some really wonderful sponsorships we've been able to acquire, and we are just continuing to look to grow that team.
Yes, so I will say I worked closely with Ned and Melanie. So Melanie, thank you for sharing all of that. I think this is, a good point to share that if you are interested in joining us for the longest day, you can certainly register and do your own event. However, if you are not interested in hosting your own event and you want to join another team, you can certainly join Ned and Melanie for their bike ride, or as Stephanie mentioned, she hosted a virtual yoga. So, individuals can engage and still donate and be really a part of her team. So for anyone that's joining us, if you are interested or you want to know more about the longest day, please let us know. It's not just a matter of doing your own event, but you can certainly join the fight and hop in with what other people are doing. Riley, before we kick it over to Jennifer, I don't know if any other comments have come in or anything that you wanted to share. I saw that Natalie commented and said, with the longest day, you really get to be you. So thank you, Melanie, for sharing that. But I think that's one of the most exciting things is that you choose what you want to do. And, you can really engage in whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be an exercise event or something like that. I did a baking event where I baked bread and then sold it as a donation. And I know Natalie, our chapter executive, sewed a bunch of masks and then either would ship them to, deliver them, or donate them if that is something that you were interested in.
I gotta say, I love the flash mob idea. It has been so long since I have seen one of my own, which is why I had to kind of join in with my own very bad dance moves. So I am looking forward to seeing that come across or be shared with me because I love a good flash mob. It just brightens the day. And if I get a chance to walk upon one of these days, oh boy, that is the best. So I'm so glad when you said that. But yeah, to echo all the comments, everyone's being so supportive. And if you're watching us now and these sound like some fun activities, we are at the very end going to talk about how you can get involved, show you the website that you have to go to. We're going to just lay it all out for you so you can make it your own, do it yourself event, and just be thinking about what one thing do you love to do, or what one new thing have you been doing since COVID-19 has happened. We're all being forced into these weird environments. It's a weird, strange time. Some of you may be taking up new hobbies. That could be a longest day event, bringing your friends in. So options are endless, as you can see here. And if you're watching and you're a part of the longest day, let us know in the comments what activities you're thinking of, or if you have any ideas for some of others that are watching. So love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jennifer, I will welcome you as our last participant to share, but I'm so thankful to have you join us. I love what you have done in the past year because I think you've taken something that, maybe people haven't thought about and really, taken something you enjoy doing and turned it into a fundraiser. And I have been able to be a part of that last year, and it was a really cool event. So yeah, if you would also just introduce yourself, share a little bit of, more about your story and how you got engaged with us. And then also I would love for you to share kind of what you've done in the past, because I just love the concept that you've taken of just simply enjoying drinking wine and turning it into a fundraiser.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Morgan and Riley. Well, my name is Jennifer Trainer, and last year was really my first year to be involved in the longest day, and it's very personal to me. I actually have lost both my parents to Alzheimer's, and my mom just passed January 9th of this year. They were in perfect health. And my family fully believes that had it not been for Alzheimer's, we would still have both my mom and dad. It was that moment, it was that day, when you hear the news that they have the Alzheimer's, that it's heartbreaking because, from friends, you kind of know what's coming, but until you live through it, you don't know what that journey is going to be like. It was different for each one of them, but neither one was easy. So it's very personal to me. My focus when I got into the longest day is I really wanted to not just raise money, but I also wanted to educate. So last year we had multiple dementia seminars where we had the opportunity to bring in speakers to be able to help educate people. I kept hearing two different spans of thought that I really wanted to help correct it, whatever my community means, I wanted to correct that. I would hear from people that Well, it's just memory loss, and it's just all you're doing is losing your keys, or you're just forgetting the name of a vacation spot that you went to 10 years ago. No, it's not just that. Alzheimer's is ugly and it's big. And when you watch your parents go through that, you think that you've hit a point where it can't get any worse. And then they turn a corner. That's not just memory loss. That is an ugly disease that we need to stop. The other thing that I would hear from people is, well, if you just take care of yourself and you eat broccoli and you walk a lot and you drink all your water, you're not going to get it, because, gee, if no one in your family had it, you're not going to get it. That is not true. You don't know who can get it. We don't know. And that's why we need all this money for research. So when we'd have the dementia seminars, we were educating people as well as being able to help raise the money through having a raffle. So I never have an event. There's not a way to bring money in. So I love to shop, and that's one of the things that my mom taught me, was how to be a very efficient shopper and a bargain hunter. So throughout the year, I do go out and I find bargains, so that then I can place them in the raffle. And I really take a consideration on what's my return on investment, because I want to have things that are attractive for folks to be able to purchase, so that that money can then go back into Alzheimer's, into the research. Some of the events that Morgan mentioned that we had last year, we had an evening in Italy. We had a full pasta dinner with wine tasting, and again, speakers for education. Earlier this year, we had a virtual silent auction on Facebook. That was very fun to put together. Basically, people were able to go in, see the different items, and then bid on it with their comment. And so that was an easy thing, really, to assemble in the midst of a pandemic. We have events that we had scheduled for this year that obviously have had to be moved. So we're looking to get those moved into these last few weeks of the longest day. So, but again, it's really real to me, as far as it's close to my heart. And I actually spoke at an event. It was a kickoff meeting this year with Morgan and the rest of the team. And it was just 2 weeks after my mom's passing. And, I knew that folks were thinking, how can you be speaking today? You just lost your mom 2 weeks ago. And as I told the attendees and the team that day, is I can speak because I'm mad now. I'm literally mad, because I know I would still have my parents if it wasn't for Alzheimer's. And we need to find a cure and a vaccine, because our children and our grands, I have 8 great grandkids, and they should not have to worry about this. So with all of us coming together and whatever it is, if it's biking or cycling, I picked up on that. If it's cycling or baking or drinking wine or running, it's whatever you love to do. It's not a wrong answer here. The correct answer is always raise money.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, for sharing. As you mentioned, yes, speaking right after losing your mom, I think was so powerful. And, I think you share a really good point that, you're mad, right? And while, yes, there's a lot of hurt, you certainly want to be a change, in the future of your grandkids and your kids and your family and things like that. So, we're so grateful for having you. And one of the things you mentioned is, it's so important to educate those. I know there's many a times that, I think I can speak for Riley and myself, where we meet with someone and, the first thing they say is, I wish I would have known about this when my mom got diagnosed, or I wish I would have known that there were support groups that I could have been a part of throughout the journey, because as you said, it's terrible and it's really dark and nobody knows what it feels like until you're a part of it. And so the education is a huge piece, but also the fundraising. And so 78 cents of every dollar fundraised goes directly to care, support, and research. So the care and the support that people like Riley and her team provide in our community, but also too, research is really what moves us forward, and ultimately we'll find a cure. So, we're so grateful for everything that all of you are doing, whether, as you said, it's baking or making masks or drinking wine or, hosting a virtual flash mob or trivia or whatever that might be for you. We're so incredibly thankful for all the work that you all are doing, and the programs that Riley does and the work I do wouldn't be possible without all of the people like you wanting to make a change in the community and ultimately in the world for all of those that are living or affected by the disease.
Absolutely. And we do have a couple comments. Another one of our staff members did a Netflix watch party for a Christmas in May theme, which was fun for her longest day. And Natalie commented about the 50+ cloth mask she made. I'm sure you never want to look at a cloth mask again, Natalie, but it was worth it because she said it was her biggest fundraising event to date that she's put on. So that's amazing. Kudos to her. And Jennifer, she gave you a beautiful comment about how you're doing an incredible job of sharing your story and all you do through the longest day. Your connection is so powerful, and it has certainly motivated others to join your fundraising efforts. And I couldn't agree more. After hearing all your stories today, I want to get involved as well. I mean, there's so many ways that you can do this, so many creative outlets to put it through. And I'm so excited for what, if you're watching now, I'm excited for what you could put on and how to get connected, which is why I want to kind of take it to Morgan. We've talked about what others are doing. How can someone get involved? What is the first step that they should do?
Yeah, absolutely. So our fundraising efforts for this longest day season actually run until August 31st. So while we will certainly be doing a lot around the longest day next weekend, there's still plenty of time for individuals to join us if you're interested. So, we heard from Ned really early in our conversation about how if you're interested, you can still join and cycle with them, even though it might not take place for another month. So if you are interested, there are really two different ways that you can get involved. You can certainly join someone else's team, or I would encourage you to go to alz.org/TLD. And that is our longest day website. And Riley's going to bring it up for you, but this is where you would register for your event. So you can see the big teal box up there at the top that said register, or as you can see to the left of that also is some fundraising ideas. So if you've been listening today and you're now curious, but you're still a little bit unsure, browse the page and look at some different type of fundraising ideas. But the first step would be really to go ahead and get registered. When you are registering, it will ask you what event you're hosting or how you're planning to be involved in the longest day. If you don't know, you can simply choose other when you're registering, and it asks for your type of activity that you're doing. Once you do register, that signals to us that you are engaged with us and that you're going to be a part of the longest day in some type of way. But then what happens is that, there is a longest day committee. Jennifer actually is a member of that committee. And I saw that a couple of people have been engaging today on our chat who are also committee members. And they are community members who volunteer their time to help you plan your longest day fundraiser and ensure that you are successful. So, you really get us as your coach. We share lots of tools, resources, and best practices because ultimately we want people to feel successful in whatever they choose to do. So if it's golfing, if you're a live streamer, I'll put the plug out there that we would love to have someone live stream and join us on the longest day. If you want to host a party or a backyard barbecue, there are really so many ways to get involved. So even if you're unsure, go ahead and get registered, and we are happy to help you along the way and make sure that you do something that ultimately you feel good and that is successful. And actually, I'm going to ask Ned really quick, or Ned and Melanie, if one of you would just speak to like how we've worked together to help you create some like flyers and things like that, because I think that's a really good example of some of the resources or assistance that we can provide to you.
Sure. Ned, do you want to answer that one?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we were fortunate enough to be kind of chosen, if you will, by the association to be one of the groups that they are going to. It's kind of called an incubation process, where they're helping. They saw the potential for our effort, realized that we do have the potential to raise a great deal of money with our efforts this year, and indeed, I think we're perceiving we could be anywhere, between doubling to, if not tripling, the funds that we raised last year. And the association has just provided us with some excellent support in terms of meeting with us regularly to provide us with ideas to help us stay on track, to even come to, as I mentioned, were able to secure 3 sponsors. They came with us on those meetings to help us speak persuasively to the cause and to bring those sponsors on board. They even helped us come up with the design for our flyers so that we can print those off and give those to potential participants and groups. So the association has just been so very helpful in helping us to forward our efforts, to provide us with resources, with ideas. I think, Morgan, you said that we may even see a association, a chapter team member or 2 at our event, maybe even to help volunteer at our SEG stops or our registration table or what have you. So they've just been so very helpful in helping us to get off the ground and to continue our efforts.
Yeah, I think it was critical when Morgan and Ann showed up when we were trying to get our sponsors to help us, because it gave us legitimacy. We weren't just a couple people saying, "Oh yeah, hey, we're going to do this event." I mean, you guys were there to help us, and the association was backing us, and it really was very helpful. I don't think we would have gotten the sponsorships without you guys.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so Riley, hopefully that answers your question, or answers for some participants, like what could support look like. I know it wasn't something that we were able to do with COVID, but I was even able to attend a meeting with Jennifer and some Fishers local government officials, just to chat about how they could maybe be involved in the longest day. So whether it's a flyer or attending a meeting, obviously it looks a little bit different right now with what's going on in the world, but certainly we're able to help in any way, whether it's talking to someone, creating a flyer, giving you ideas, supporting you through that journey. Stephanie's been a rock star. I will say she has really driven her own bus, and I haven't been as of a much resource to her, but in the beginning we had lots of great conversations, and she's really run with it. So we're able to give as much or as little support as someone wants.
Yeah, and that does answer my questions. I hope that if you're watching this, it's motivated you in some way to be a part of this Fab Four that we brought on to our Zoom call and get involved. I know next week we will do a part 2 to kind of this day, and I hope you can join us for that rally. But I heard through the grapevine that there might be a small incentive if you are listening and might want to join your own team. Morgan, I think this is your cue. What's that incentive?
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone who is listening today and has not joined us for the longest day, we would love to have you join us. So for anyone who registers between now and Monday, we will put your name in a hat, and we will draw one participant who we want to highlight and also share their story. So whether it's getting on our Facebook Live next week, or whether that is doing a blog post. We've done one on a number of longest day participants sharing what they're doing. And so whatever that looks like, or whatever that's comfortable with, we would love to have someone join us, pick them to share their story, and then also we'll share or mail them some longest day swag to go with that. So as you all see, we won't stop fighting, and we want you to join us. So if you want to be a part of that, we are giving a little incentive for anyone who registers between now and Monday, and we will pick one lucky person.
That's awesome.
I wanted to mention, we talked about getting involved, and I really think groups, organizations that you already involved in are such key. I would say I run with a group of 50 plus. We don't all run at the same time, but there's about 50 plus girls of us in Brownsburg that we have our little running club, and they're so instrumental and amazing. And one of the girls is a yoga instructor, and my kids go to a smaller private Catholic school, and that support has been huge too. And so it's like I have my little niches too that I kind of will I shouldn't say, but like my kids are able to do fundraisers at the school because it's not, there's a little more flexibility necessarily. Or we've seeked out, so we kind of will focus on like a group that it might work toward too. So that's been huge, just those connections, especially in this time where I can't, we can't do anything. We're able to do more. We can't do anything as live. Or I know I had a restaurant that was going to give some proceeds, but they had struggled to keep their doors open, so they had to back out. So that's something I've really kind of focused on, drawing those groups in those groups' interest, such as running, or such as, like I said, my kids love art, and the art teacher at their school, this was a passionate thing, raising money for Alzheimer's. So they've connected with that art teacher to do the school fundraisers. So like I said, any parts of groups work have been a great place to start for fundraising.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stephanie. I think, we really encourage people to like leverage their networks, or really think about what groups do you belong to. I'm actually going to ask Jennifer if you'll share. I know that your community that you live in and your neighbors have really been helpful and key. So if you'll maybe just speak to how they've been kind of a part of your journey, or how they've been involved in your events.
Yeah, they've been very helpful. So my husband and I, we live out in Fishers in the Britton Falls community, which is for 55 and over. So there's a lot of interest out here, not only in understanding it more, but wanting to know about the support groups that are available through the Alzheimer's Association, because it's very real to them. Many have already lost their parents, or they may have a spouse that they're living with now that they're caregiving for. So there's direct interest there. So when we hosted our dinner and wine tasting events and any of our dementia seminars, they've been very well attended, and they've been very, very generous with their gifting when it comes to the raffle table. So again, we'd have that raffle table loaded up, and we would sell tickets, and encourage folks to obviously buy more. So we would price the tickets where it was easier for them to give a 20 than a 5. And there were I would see people with fistfuls of tickets, because, the money just comes in, but it's the interest there, and they're very supportive, and I'm very appreciative for that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Jennifer. And I hope, for anyone still listening in, these are great examples of people that you can leverage, or the networks that you're involved in, and how you can bring them in. I know, with Ned and Melanie, they have lots of friends that they also cycle with. And so it's been really important to get their event on like a cycling page, or helping people understand like how they can be involved, because a lot of times, as Jennifer mentioned, people want to be generous and they want to help. It's just, someone asking them, or engaging with them, sharing the information, and really just constantly reminding people of how you're impacting our mission, which really is a world without Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. So really just continuing to push forward and let people know how they can be involved, I think is so important, especially in those networks and people that you're already friends with. Ned, is that you want to talk? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point, because when I first started doing this, there was kind of a fear of asking people to join. So I've never been heavy on someone about, asking for money. But, you lay the story out there, you tell them why you're doing it, you give them your story, and you remind them that my tagline is always, you may not be affected yet, but you will be soon, because the math doesn't lie on this. So, we need to find something through the research to help fight this and get rid of it. So, the fear of asking for money kind of goes away, because all you have to do is tell your story and say if you'd like to help. And people want to give. They just need a story as to why they should give.
Yeah, Stephanie.
Piggybacking on that, it was, I think I kind of stopped pushing when the COVID thing came up, because it's like, I felt like I had to straight ask for money now. But I've kind of tried to put people not on the spot so much. For example, I had posted a picture of my dad in the last time he had saw one of my kids' games. And I said, he got to stay 12 days with us and see 13 games. And I talked about how important the support is through this association. And I just asked, who will give $12 to symbolize those 12 days? which is not a lot of money, and I think that makes people feel relieved. Oh, I don't need to donate 50 or 100. Especially, like I said, these financial times are hard for people. So, and it was amazing how many people just gave $12. One day I said, I ran 7 miles for training today. Who wants to sponsor those 7 miles? And I had 10 people just give $7. So it's not, so I think too, sometimes just symbolizing what you're doing, connecting it, just like, running or biking the amount of miles that one in to symbolize the amount of people diagnosed. So it kind of connects it too with a little fact too. I like, but it's just very, it's like I said, and you just can give very little. And I think sometimes not telling them you have to give that much, but like I asked my friends, $3 on the longest day. That's your Starbucks. Cause we used to always sit at Starbucks and drink our coffee and we can't right now. So I'm like, I'll have the coffee. You donate the $3. And
yeah, Stephanie, your efforts have been really great. And I think, as you mentioned, it doesn't have to be anything big, right? It can be like small little things along the way. I will give you a shout out. I know you've already reached the $3,000 mark this season. And so I think that's just a great example of just asking someone to give up coffee or, match a donation. We often encourage people as well. It costs $25 to fund a helpline call. So, encouraging people to, fund one helpline call, or how can you help really give back to the mission. And so I think all of you have done a fantastic job, and you really understand that it's sharing your story, sharing the statistics, helping people understand, like, how is this affecting, you and your neighbor and your family is so important.
I know I've loved all the stories that you guys have shared, and I don't know how anyone watching this is not motivated to get off their booty and go sign up for the longest day. I mean, it is so easy to do it. I mean, you guys have talked about how you thought it was going to be a struggle and it really wasn't. So that fear is gone. You've talked about how you can really just take anything that you're excited about, anything that you enjoy doing, and turn it into a fun event with friends. And especially in this virtual, remote, social isolation world, we're having to find more creative ways to connect with our loved ones and our friends. And I think, if anything, that's just promoted a lot more connectivity amongst our networks. And we'd be surprised to know how much people are willing to support and give, even if it is Stephanie's example of $3 for Starbucks or $7 for 7 miles. I think that those are some great ideas. And if you have any questions, feel free to follow up after this call. I know that we do have that incentive for you. I hope that there's already a person that is registered, got off this live and went to the website. That would be great. Morgan can check that later, but everyone that registers will have that incentive to possibly share their story either in print, or if you want to come on our live, we'd be happy to invite you. And I know next week, Morgan, we are doing another longest day kind of event to tip off into the weekend. Would you mind telling everyone what that live will look like so they can tune in next week too?
Sure. Yeah. So as Riley mentioned, we are using next Friday, same time, same place, just to really do a little kickoff and build some excitement for the longest day. So, if you are listening to this, we'd love for, you to dress in your purple and come really excited to share how you're engaging in the longest day, in a world where we have some physical distancing guidelines. There are still a lot of people that are doing something on the longest day. So if you're available, join us next Friday and get excited and share what you're going to do. And then next Saturday evening, we'll actually also have a Shine Your Light ceremony for all longest day participants, those who are family and friends, and donate to the association to join us and really help us honor all of those that we're fighting for. So we'll talk more about what that looks like next week. But yeah, if anyone's available, love to have you join us. But, before closing out today, I just want to say, thank you so much to Melanie and Ned and Stephanie and Jennifer. Your stories are truly so impactful, and we're so grateful for you all engaging with us. And thank you to Riley for helping moderate us and move us through the conversation today. But so grateful. And as Riley mentioned again, we are doing that incentive. So anyone who registers between now and Monday, we'll be reaching out to you as well to hopefully join us and get you some longest day swag. So I just wanted to say thanks again for anyone listening, and let us know if you have questions. And thank you to all my participants. You guys are so awesome, and you truly do amazing work, and you help us move our mission forward every day.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, guys. We'll see you next Friday at 12.
Thanks. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.